The new S-Class, the new luxury, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
An anti-graft officer was charged in the KL Sessions Court today for criminal breach of trust involving $6.94 million, about 29.01 million ringgit, said to be retrieved from ex-spy chief Datuk Hasanah Abdul Hamid. The money is material evidence for Hasanah's trial. MACC senior officer Shahrum Nizam Baharuddin is accused of committing the offence at the MACC's Special Action Branch Chief's Office in Block C of the Putrajaya headquarters between December 17, 2018 and April 9, 2019. If found guilty under Section 409 of the Penal Code, Shahrum may face up to 20 years in jail and a fine. He claimed trial and was denied bail after the judge was informed by the prosecution that he may face more than 100 charges of money laundering in relation to the criminal breach of trust offence. The court also fixed February 18th for mention of the case. Last April, the KL High Court granted Hasanah a discharge not amounting to an acquittal for criminal breach of trust involving 50.4 million ringgit of government money following a new development. The prosecution had indicated that she will be made to face her charge at a later date. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob has dismissed speculation that a cabinet reshuffle is imminent. According to state news agency Bernama, the PM said Putrajaya is focusing on more pressing issues affecting the people, namely the floods and the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking to the press in Malacca, Ismail Sabri said it was normal for people to be talking and names to be mentioned, but the fact is there are no such plans. Utusan Malaysia reported today that Ismail Sabri met with his predecessor Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin to discuss the matter yesterday and is expected to announce a cabinet reshuffle and a deputy prime minister next week. Citing sources, Utusan said the nominees for the post are from Bersatu, with International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Sri Azmin Ali said to be the front runner. Think Tank Socio-Economic Research Centre, or CERC, expects the Malaysian economy to expand by 5.2% this year, supported by the reopening of economic and social sectors. That's an improvement from the 2021 projected growth of 3.4%. Executive Director Lee Heng-Gui said CERC's forecast is lower than the government's projection of 5.5% to 6.5%, as he expects private consumption to face headwinds, mainly inflation risk and high cost of living this year. He also sees households starting to rebuild their savings and balance sheet, which will have an impact on gross domestic product growth. Meanwhile, private consumption is expected to grow at 5.9%, which is lower than the government's forecast of 7.3%. Public investment is seen at 13.3%, still lower than the government's estimated 24.1%, while real export growth is also expected to moderate to 2.9% versus the government's official forecast of 4.2% in 2022. As for the key interest rate, Lee believes Bank Negara will hike the overnight policy rates by 25 to 50 basis points to 2% to 2.25% in the second half of 2022, though the timing will depend on the growth trajectory and inflation risk. He estimates that inflation will increase by 3%, higher than the estimate of 2.5% in 2021. National car maker Proton Holdings saw total sales rise by 4.5% year-on-year in 2021 to 114,708 units for the domestic and export markets, its highest closing figure since 2014. This is Proton's third straight year of sales volume growth. The car maker said the achievement is particularly noteworthy as the overall total industry volume for Malaysia is estimated to have shrunk by 4.6% to just over 505,000 units. Proton's market share in December is estimated to be 20.6%. For 2021, its market share is estimated to be 22.7%. Proton ADA Chief Executive Officer Roslan Abdullah said the company is proud of being the brand with the highest export volume in 2021, as it shows that Proton is gaining traction abroad. While increasing shipping costs are a growing concern, he said Proton's planned activities in 2022 mean it expects export sales growth to accelerate in the coming years. Car maker Perodua saw its 2021 vehicle sales volume fall by 29.8% from a year earlier to 190,291 units, as the pandemic, the semiconductor chip supply disruption and recent floods adversely affected production. Perodua President and CEO Datuk Hasanah Abdul Hamid said the figure missed its 2021 target of 200,000 units, as challenges during the year were greater than anticipated. The group had cut its sales target twice to 214,000 units from 240,000 units in September last year, followed by another revision to 200,000 in November 2021. However, Perodua's sales performance for December rose by 11.5% month-on-month to 22,940 units, as countermeasures on intermittent supply disruption caused by the pandemic bore fruit. Zainal shared that the Myvi continued to lead the overall Malaysian market in terms of sales by model, with 47,525 units, followed by the Axia and Beza, which led the country's A-segment market. He expects the total industry volume for the year to fall by an estimated 23.6% from 2020 to 504,536 units, while the local automotive supply chain has faced a massive setback in recent years. Zainal said there is a silver lining, as the order bank for Perodua vehicles remains healthy, with consumers still responding positively to the sales tax exemption introduced by the government. As for the 2022 vehicle sales target of 240,000, which Perodua announced last month, Zainal said it will likely review that figure later this month.
This program was brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.